Great googly moogly. It is FlightCheck Season 1, Episode 8, and we are here. We're talking MSI, we're talking Pentanet, we're talking how RNG might actually just win the whole thing. Dom1 might win the whole thing. We're talking about Nox War being absolutely horrific at League of Legends.
No. We don't need it. No. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about that.
We're talking about... What are we talking about? I don't even know. Curly, what's been going on this week? What are we talking
Well,
about?
so for me, last week was finals week, so it was a little bit stressful. So my Me Quest, we didn't touch on Me Quest last week, but I did clean my room. I've been playing an instrument, like my ukulele, a lot. In fact, actually today during my stream, I I got really tilted after a very poor Poppy match I had played, and so to de-tilt myself, I just busted out my ukulele and played for like 5 minutes, and I was like, all right, I'm untilted, and then I had a phenomenal Poppy match.
Nice.
So,
Hey, there you go.
and then
all
I don't
you
know
need
what
is a
else to
little
do for the
uke in your
combo,
life, you know?
but yeah,
Not bad.
talk about
Nox, yeah, so let's hear about this, like, going missing on the road thing. I mean, this
yeah.
has
What
been
is this about? Why are
for
you a
those of
ghost?
you who are not in the FlyQuest Discord, there's been a running meme for a few days now that Nox has been looking for an exit on an interstate for several days now, and it looks like you're not in a car. So maybe you can shed some light on this.
So, what you can't tell is this is actually limbo. I've gone under the
Oh.
afterlife. That's why it's all white around me. I even have the
Yeah,
white shirt to continue on with the afterlife.
hence
But
the
no,
blank wall behind you. Yeah,
yeah,
exactly.
no, exactly. I'm in limbo. I'm in what's the other word for it?
Purgatory?
Purgatory. Thank
Oh
you.
my
Started with
god.
P. But no, what happened was we were having our FlyQuest community nights, in which case you guys should join. They're a lot of fun. Next one's coming up probably this Friday. The poll hasn't closed on it yet. But
Listen
last
to the
Friday
man.
they were doing TFT night with their community, and basically I got called into work, and basically I was gonna miss the first little bit, and I decided, well, on my way home I'll hop in the call and just chat with the guys. And so I was chatting, doing my thing, driving, and it came to the realization that my normal route home was shut down. And I was like, okay, whatever, just like detour, continue down the road. And then it got to the point where the next 4 exits were all shut down. I could not get onto my highway. And so eventually I was like, okay, I turned around and I was trying to get back, like maybe there's an exit further up the other way. And I got all the way down there, and basically it spit me right back onto the exact same road that had all 4 exits shut down. And so basically the whole FlyQuest Discord is sitting
Oh
here
no.
listening to me go, how do I get home? I don't know how to get home. What is happening? And so it was like 10 minutes of that. And eventually I was like, okay, guys, I got to go. I have to go look at maps or something. And I like dropped the call, and everyone's like, oh my God, is Nox okay? And like I eventually texted him back like 15, 20 minutes later after I finally did get like a route home. And basically at that point, the road roller started the meme of just, you'll never see me again. But if you're on a Texas road somewhere, you might see me driving, still looking for my exit to this day.
Well, we're glad you're at least somewhere. We know you're at least in limbo or purgatory. We'll make sure to check in with you on a weekly basis, see how that's going. Yeah, not much been going on for me this week. Just been another week of work. I was excited to have MSI going on. Not that I would
Yes.
ever watch MSI while I'm at work. I will make that very clear to anyone who's listening, especially my employer, would never watch MSI while I am working.
Never.
Definitely only watched VODs. Uh, as it stands, there's been a lot of discussion, I think, guys, about MSI in several different realms. I mean, first of all, you've got the games themselves,
Yeah.
but then there's also been a lot of discussion about the format.
Mm-hmm.
And Knox, I wanted to go to you first because I've seen plenty of discussion, especially on the subreddit, in the post-game threads about how this first group stage has seemed kind of meaningless or pointless or just boring straight up. And I wanted to get your take on how you felt about that.
So, I mean, you guys can. There are receipts. You can go look at the last VOD that we had. I straight up said that I wasn't a fan of this particular format. It's funny because, like, while I've warmed up to it a little more, especially after watching these matches that have been going on, I think part of that is also hindsight bias in the sense of these matches have just been really good. I think, though, if I'm to stand by, like, the reason why I thought that in the first place, I think the idea that I had in mind is still true, and I'll explain that. So the idea that I had in mind is when Riot placed all the teams into different tiers, the bottom four tier, or the tier 4 teams, so you have Brazil, Japan, and Australia, right? Typically, for the past couple of years, these teams have not been very good. They've struggled to take teams off of even tier 3 or games off of tier 3 teams and tier 2 teams, and especially not tier 1 teams, right? Like, you go look at past MSIs, past Worlds, it just hasn't happened. And so, based off of historical reoccurrence, I mean, coming into this particular format, you look at it and you go, okay, well, you have Detonation Focus Me, which really hasn't done much. I mean, they had they took a game off of Splice at Worlds 2019, I believe, which was hype, but that was the only thing that really happened. And then you had one really close game against Cloud9 back in like 2018, I think, and that was it. Australia has never done anything at any international event. The closest they've ever been to making groups or the main stage at any international event was back in 2015 when they lost to Bangkok Titans 1-3 at the International Wildcard Invitational. And then you had Brazil, who for the past couple of years has just fallen off a cliff and has done absolutely nothing in any of their groups. So with all that in mind, you look at this format and you go, okay, I mean, with the history of these teams and these regions, and then you go look at Latin America, which has shown repeated promise over and over again. You look at Turkey, who's been a solid contender multiple times over and over again. And then you have UOL, who made it to the main stage just this past Worlds, right? Like, those are the tier 3 teams. Like, that's a big, vast skill difference, supposedly, right there, especially off of historical standings. So then come actual gameplay time, you've got Detonation Focus Me making Damwon sweat their butts off, taking a game off Cloud9. You've got Australia making actual main stage for the first time ever in history. And then you've got Brazil 2-0ing Turkey in the first time in forever and actually making a really good group stage standing. And so there goes all of my arguments out the window, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think it's fair to note, I mean, if you look at Group A with Pentanet getting out, obviously that was the group without Gigabyte Marines in it, right? And if you look at how that group played out, RNG just straight up 8-0'd that group, which
dominating.
is dominating. You know, theoretically, if those three teams also had to play Vietnam Gigabyte Marines twice each, you know, so you cut those records in half. You've got RNG starting at a 4-0, and Pentanet and UOL each at 1-3. I mean, based off of historical trends and what we think, I think it's safe to say Gigabyte Marines probably makes it out of that group, just on the level of play. So I don't want to take anything away from Pentanet here, right? Like, huge moment for them in representing OS, especially after all the, you know, dismantling of their region, both in the mass exodus to NA and just losing Riot support. They've been through a lot. And so this moment for them, I think it means so much as a region to get somebody through a play-in stage for the first time. Are they going to, you know, have to look back and say, yeah, well, I guess we did it without Vietnam actually in our group? Yeah, but for the moment, I think you can take that time and just say, wow, we did it. Ultimately, they beat Unicorns of Love in a best of 5, 3-2, which I still don't think you would have many people saying before the tournament was going to happen. I had UOL making it out of this group pretty comfortably, at a better record than 2-6. I would say they're probably super disappointed. But I think one thing that I had been seeing from some pro players on Twitter and in some interviews that pushed back on this whole narrative that the format's bad or whatever. For a lot of these emerging region, minor region, whatever you want to call them, teams, this is one of the only opportunities they will have all year to play against higher tier competition. This is the only chance a team like DFM or Infiniti Esports, Pentanet are going to get to play against Korean and Chinese teams. And while obviously we don't know if they're scrimming against them, at least the stage games are giving them massive experience in terms of playing against competition that is leagues ahead of them. And I've seen players, I saw Pabu saying on Twitter that this is really, really good for those lower ranked teams and regions to play against the better teams, to play against higher skilled players, only because it just gives them invaluable experience that they would not necessarily get in their own leagues at home. So I think before the community jumps in and says, wow, format bad, minor regions bad, big stomp, turbo smurf, blah, 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 I think we have to remember that for the players of those minor regions, this is actually really good experience for them. And yeah, sure, they're sad to be going home. They wish they could show more, but they are probably more grateful for the experience and the opportunity than most people would care to think about in the first place.
Yeah, and I was wary of the format last week for like the same reasons everyone else is, but as you're saying, it does give them a lot of experience, and then I think it can be very inspiring for not just the players, but for the people from that region. Like Australia is probably going nuts right now.
Oh, they were. They were.
Because yeah, because Pentanet got out, and then personally, something else I want to talk about in terms of potential upsets, I guess would say, is the almost win that Detonation Focus Me had against Damwon. And like those moments made me really kind of appreciate like this format a little more. And then Istanbul taking a game off of Mad Lions, stuff like that. Like this format, it's a very much a double-edged sword, because you can either have a big chance for upsets and a lot of entertainment and inspiring gameplay, but at the same time you can have the domination like you did with RNG. But yeah,
I was just gonna say, finish your point. I was just gonna mention maybe we should go like Group A, Group B, Group C, and like just like as talking points.
Okay, well let's go to Group A then.
All right, so Group A.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, Curly.
No, all good.
Yeah, so Group A. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. RNG 8-0 gets right through. Pentanet gets the 2-2 in the regular stage with UOL and then beats them in the tiebreaker. I think the only thing really to talk about here is, if Gigabyte Marines was in this group, would they have taken one of their two games off of RNG? I'm not super sure. I still think this would have been I think this would have been a 6-0 for RNG. So
Agreed.
I don't know. I mean, Knox, is there anything interesting about this group that you want to talk about, that we haven't really covered already?
The only thing I would truly summarize is this is CIS's worst performance at an international competition ever.
Yeah.
Period. Straight up. There's no debating that. Like, hands down, they were the worst. The only possible competition at this point was maybe Turkey, but even then, Turkey took a game off of Mad Lions earlier this morning. So I would say, personally, for me, this is CIS's worst showing, which sucks because it comes from the Unicorns Love team, which I absolutely love and adore. And basically, I had high hopes, especially coming off the Worlds. And in case people weren't aware, the AD carry position was replaced. So Gadget went to EU Masters. And do you remember what team he played on, either of you?
I don't.
Was it Mouse?
I honestly did not pay a lot of attention to EU Masters.
Either way, Gadget left for EU Masters, and they picked up Logic, who you guys may remember as a substitute player for Gambit back when Gambit was still in the EU LCS.
Yeah.
And this entire time while they've been in Iceland, Logic has been working on his master's thesis.
Oh, wow.
So partially, I don't know how much that actually has to tie in with their level of play and whatnot, but it's been very well known, at least amongst the pro community, that like, hey, Logic is like having to do this on the side while they're practicing and whatnot. So that may or may not have to do a little bit with the performance, who knows? But at the end of the day, this is still CIS's worst performance.
That's
and
crazy.
It's for the first time ever, Pentanet, Australia, the boys, they're through, and I think everyone should be happy about
raise
that.
those koalas.
Raise your koalas.
Raise your koalas.
Alrighty.
That's
well, let's
great.
move on to Group B now, too.
Yeah.
Yes. This is the more exciting group.
Yeah. The fact that it did not play out at all how I expected it to last week. In the sense that I said this was going to be the most even and the most entertaining. And I'm not saying it wasn't entertaining. And I'm not saying... But in terms of the matches, like... They kind of went exactly as everyone predicted in the long run. You know? Mad Lions and PSG got out, and Pain Gaming and Wildcats didn't. You know? They flopped. And so I get, like, for me, that was a little bit of a letdown.
And I think the thing for me is that the 5-1 from Mad Lions, it's not really representative of their true strength, in my opinion. Like, it was not a clean 5-1.
No, not at all.
I forget if they were playing Pain or Wildcats, but the game where they might have been Pain, where they were basically
they were about to.
Yeah, well, the inhib respawn, they were basically about to lose,
Pain, yeah.
and then they turned it, with a Nexus defense. It's like they were gonna lose. Straight up, they would have been 4-2. They still would have made it out of the group. Pain might have made it a little more interesting, but and then even today, losing to Wildcats, the only win for Wildcats all day. They really did not look super clean today. From what I saw. And so for me, it's interesting because, like, I don't think PSG Talon was significantly better. And I think, not to do some results-based analysis here, we hate results-based analysis on this podcast, or at least I do. No results-based analysis on this podcast. Not allowed.
I promise I won't do that for the World's preview.
Fair. But I just don't think Talon is a better team, but I don't think Mad Lions is significantly better than them by leaps and bounds. I mean, obviously they did 2-0, so there is that, but or they 2-0'd PSG Talon, but I was just not impressed. I didn't feel like Mad dominated this group the way RNG dominated Group A, and the way Damwon has been mostly dominating Group C.
Yeah.
No, I would definitely say they are.
Oh, no.
Oh, Nox froze.
Nox just kind of froze there. Nox is a ghost now.
Well, he did put in our Discord group. Did y'all hear that thunder crack?
There is a storm.
Shook. So there might be a storm brewing. So this is now a two-man podcast until
with a frozen Nox War in the middle.
With a frozen Nox War until he returns.
Two-man podcast ever.
All right, two-man podcast. Let's go. Oh, he says his whole
laptop just crashed. All right.
Well,
tell him to just type it up and we'll read it while we get to it. In the meantime, filibustering.
In the meantime, it's us. All right. So Group B. Well, we can wrap this up, and then I think Curly has a segment that he wanted to get to. Maybe we could throw that in real fast while we wait for Nox, because
Nox needs to be here for that.
That's fair, but I
Nox
also want
needs to be here.
All right, well, we will filibuster.
He has good commentary on it.
This is a good test for us novice podcast makers. How to play along when you're doing a live show and one of your persons just absolutely dies. Okay, he's gonna try to join the call on his phone. This is interesting. All right, let's see how this goes.
Oh no, you guys!
Uh-oh.
Oh no, it's backwards now.
Oh no! Here we go.
Okay, so for the VOD, there we go.
Hang on.
Cool,
right.
Beautiful.
All right, so I'll be honest though, Nox. I will say your phone camera quality is leaps and bounds better
Are
than
you
your
kidding me?
laptop.
It really is.
Oh, this is great.
Oh no.
Well,
That's fantastic.
y'all can go enjoy my outside, I guess.
For any
Oh,
of
but the
you,
audio levels are so low. All right.
yeah, hang on. Yeah,
Do 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 do.
we gotta boost his audio. For
200
sure.
speak.
Yeah, there we go.
Let me do AirPods real quick. We
AirPods,
apologize
beautiful.
for anyone listening right now.
We are a professional podcast.
All right, hang on. Will this get cut out of the Spotify?
Potentially.
We'll
No.
find
So
out.
wait, how does this
I might
sound
have
with
to-
the AirPods?
It sounds better. We
Okay.
might have to do. I might have to do some audio editing.
Yeah.
Later.
You can always send it over to me. But anyway, back to the show, everybody. You were about to say something, Knox. What was it?
I don't even remember, and I think my power's about to go out now. My lights are
Excellent.
flickering.
Cool. Well, we
Oh,
are.
no. Well, I
well,
guess
we'll
in
keep
that
this-
case, let's just get to.
We'll keep this
Group
rolling as
C?
fast as we can.
We're on Group B, right?
Yeah, but we can wrap
We were
it up
wrapping it up just a little bit.
as quickly as we can. So let's just say, I think the teams that got out of this group were the teams we expected to get out of this group. Mad and PSG. Pain Gaming certainly made it interesting. I think the most interesting thing about this group is that Pain 2-0'd Wildcats. We know that Brazil Turkey is a big rivalry, massive, flaming from both regions all the time towards each other. So very cool to see Brazil honestly perform a lot better than most people probably were expecting. Shout out to my Brazilian brothers. I am European Portuguese by heritage, so they are my blood in some shape or form. So maybe Worlds is when we finally make it to groups. But
I was gonna say, I think I was reading the Reddit post, and basically not a majority, but a fair couple of people on there were like, you know what, we 2-0 Turkey, good enough, we'll take it, and they're like happy with it. So, fun fact, basically, if you took all the competitions between Turkey and Brazil since basically international competition started for League of Legends, Brazil now re-owns the head-to-head record between them and Turkey. I think it is now 15-14. I had it pulled up on my laptop, but my laptop's dead. But if I remember right, it was 15-14 now.
I was just gonna say, what's wild to me is this man doesn't have his laptop up, and now he's just pulling the stats out of his head,
Out of his brain.
Like,
just straight out of his brain. Oh, we got a live view.
I cannot even move anything right now. It's just dead.
You might need to do a little bit of a force reboot there.
Yeah,
just hold the power button forever. But
yeah. All right, so that's Group
Group
B.
C.
Here's
It's time.
This is the big kahuna. Let's start. I'm gonna make a statement. Cloud9 is lucky. Cloud9 is very lucky. That first of all, that Damwon is in their group. Because Damwon went 3-0, and DFM and Infiniti, basically it's all just, bouncing off of each other. It's a gigantic circle of suck between C9, DFM, and Infiniti right now. Cloud9 is basically in a position where they make their own destiny. You're going to be expected to lose to Damwon again. And on paper, you should beat DFM and you should beat Infiniti, which is what we expected to happen last time. But as we all know, Infiniti got that dub, and they're going to make it. That's going to make it really difficult for Cloud9 to get out of this group if they continue to play, honestly, at the poor quality that we have seen so far. And we've had a lot of, I've seen a lot of chatter from, I think, Hanabi from PSG and a few other players and coaches basically saying, yeah, anyone could get out of that group. Who knows? Like, no one out there in Iceland right now is really banking on Cloud9 to make it out of the group. That's worrying. I don't know, Curly. I mean, how do you feel?
I mean, I want to have faith. I want to believe in the West. However, I think a lot of people underestimated the LJL. And personally, like, I think they might have a better shot of getting out of than Cloud9 if Cloud9 doesn't clean up tomorrow. Like, especially when I saw their game of, because they did have one game against DFM already, correct?
Yep. Yes.
Yeah. And that was the one where with the infamous flash for Scuttle, yes?
Yes.
Number one, that hurt to watch.
I was like, what a build-up.
But I think that was the start of showing that maybe we shouldn't underestimate the LJL, because the reason that he even had to do that is because LJL was running, DFM was like running circles around us at first, around Cloud9, and then they almost took a game off of Damwon. The only two reasons, there are two big reasons they didn't win, is that Victor was finally able to scale and like impact team fights so much. And then I credit specifically that last team fight to the Morgana spell shield stopping the Urgot ult. Because that changed everything. Because everyone else was on automatic for that team fight. Like, you could see it. It was automatic under the assumption that that ult was going to go off. And everything fell apart because of that.
I mean, imagine how much more difficult this group would be for Cloud9 to get out of if DFM had won, right? Then all of a sudden...
it would have been a really, really, really bad position for Cloud9 if DFM had won that match.
Yeah, you would have to... Well, you'd have to beat DFM, you'd have to beat Infiniti, and you would have to hope DFM also loses to Damwon, first of all, and then if they beat Infiniti, then you've got a tiebreaker versus them. Assuming that you even beat Infiniti. So, like I said, Cloud9 is going to basically be forging their own destiny here in Group C. And, you know, I've seen a lot of things going around the internet. I've seen, I think it was Perk saying that they're finding it really difficult to draft. I might have that misquoted. Don't quote me on that.
I wouldn't be surprised with Rainover not there.
Yeah, some player I think was saying that they are just not sure how to draft in this meta currently. Yeah, and we've seen Blabber just making really questionable plays. Obviously the flashing for Crab, it was just one of the dumbest plays. Like, that's something I would do as a bronze jungler. Like, that's not something that a two-time MVP, that's not a play that he should be making. He knows better. And you have to wonder, you know, is the pressure getting to them? Do they feel like they have something to prove? You know, what is going on? You know, is it just because it's the Perks show and he has to carry and, you know, they'll win through Perks? Or is it something else?
I mean, I think for whatever reason, I think part of it is actually Rainover's not there, because if you look at the drafts, I was reading some analysis on this today from Tim. Tim Seven, I can't say his last name ever.
Oracle's Elixir.
Yeah, there we go. I was reading some analysis from him earlier today, and basically he was stating was like the way that Cloud9 is drafting, it's almost like they're trying to let Fudge have the ability to carry, but the thing is, Blabber's not playing around topside right now, so you're putting Fudge on things like Jace, and then you're not backing him up at all, so he's getting repeatedly died top lane. And so, I mean, if you wanted to play through bot, that's fine, especially with the way your bot lane's playing right now, because Sven and Vulcan look great, right? But the thing is, you can't just leave Fudge up top on these picks that are just meant to get picked off. You have to put him on a tank or something so that way he's at least going to be useful later. So I think part of it comes down to the draft. I think for whatever reason, Blabber is having a huge competitive block right now. I don't know. Did you guys watch the Sven interview after the DFM match with Travis?
Missed that one.
I'd meant to, but
he was very blatant in like whose fault it was for that match. Like he didn't say Blabber's name, but he may as well just been writing out in giant red letters, "This is Blabber's fault." So
I kind of like the phone camera where you can do stuff like that. Anyway, keep going.
I can add a little extra pizzazz to it, but basically, it was just. I feel like the team environment right now. Granted, I mean that may just be European like personalities and whatnot, where they're just blowing off steam. They're being a little toxic just so that way they can get back to it. Who knows? But I mean, in that moment during the interview, like Sven was not holding back, and he was like, "No, this is like I'm not going to say his name, but y'all know whose fault that was for that game."
Yeah. Yeah, and that's tough. You have to think that there's potentially some kind of internal discord, some unrest, people, just morale being down, and when you start to lose your trust in your teammates, right, then the whole thing can just come crumbling down. I mean, we've seen that before in other teams when there's no cohesion or very little of it. They're just unable to trust each other and make plays at the right time. I still think Cloud9, with a few days of scrims, and maybe some time to just kind of relax, watch the other teams play, get a bunch of games in themselves. I think they have what it takes to turn it around. I think they're going to probably go 2-1 tomorrow. They'll make it out. I expect DFM and Infiniti to, lose to both Dom1 and Cloud9. One of them will beat the other, and we'll end up having, a 6-0 Dom1, Cloud9 making it out at 3-3. DFM and Infiniti, one of them will be 2-4, the other 1-5. I think that's on paper to be expected. But again, I just don't know. And the thing that I wanted to bring up then is if Cloud9 makes it to stage 2, the Rumble, at this point, I don't see them getting out of that. I don't see them making top 4 there, based on this current level of play. For all the not so clean game play that we saw from Mad or PSG, they're playing much better than Cloud9 has been. And then the other teams that would be in there are RNG and Dom1. And then you would have Pentanet, so maybe Cloud9, picks up a couple wins off of them. But I just don't see them making it out. I don't even see them getting 4 wins. I see them getting maybe 3 with this current level of play.
Oh man!
And I know that's hot. I know that's hot, but I'm pretty down. Look, you cannot spell. I said this in the Discord earlier. You cannot spell no faith without NA. You can't spell no faith without NA.
Here's the thing,
okay?
Sandy. The thing is, you think your take is hot, but I actually, let me reach in the oven here. Hold on.
Oh, he's reaching in the oven. Oh, he's pulling it out.
Dan1 will not go undefeated.
Ooh. Okay. Well.
In the group stage.
That's not as hot as the take as I was expecting. Did you have the oven preheated to 325 or?
Oh, the oven. Here's the thing. This is like the garlic bread that like is only in there for 2 minutes. I got the cookies, like the piping hot cookies, ready for. I don't know when we're gonna get to that discussion, but I've got some cookies. Like they're gonna be, they're gonna be hot. Trust me, my take is bacon for the next segment that we get to once we wrap up Group C. But I do not think that Damwon Kia is going to get it out of the group stage undefeated. I think that the LJL is going to take a game off of them in their rematch tomorrow.
Okay, now you've made it high.
All right, that's hot.
Yeah,
Piping hot.
I think, because here's the thing. I think Detonation Focus Me is a lot better of a team than people are giving them credit for, especially with the way that it was only those last 3 minutes. It's like the last game that FlyQuest had in the regular season of the spring split, where they were winning all the way, and it was one bad team fight at the end that made it how it turned out.
I think that's
because
fair.
In my eyes, Damwon did not win that game. DFM lost it. And so
True.
If it had to be a case of a team had to lose a game, in a team that on paper should not be the one to take a game off Damwon Gaming, I think that's number one, a sign that maybe they're not as strong as we think. But also, if DFM takes it off, or if they're not the one to take it off, I think C9, if they get their shit together tomorrow, do have the ability, the raw ability. They just need to play to the for what we saw this season, where they came out on top and they stayed on top. They just need to pull that Cloud9 with Perks and his EU experience and knowing how to win worlds, and Blabber being the rookie we expect him to be, and they can take a game off of Damwon Kia too. And Infiniti, I'm sorry, but I don't think they're going to be getting out.
Sorry, LATAM fans.
I was going to say, we have a lot of LATAM fans in the fly cord with Jose Dioto. So
tread carefully, my friend. Well, here's what I would say to that is Infiniti did beat DFM the other day, so they have the 1-0 there. I think, like I said at the top of this discussion, it's just a bit of a circle of suck. Not that like all three of these teams suck or anything. Obviously, they're the best in their region, right? But it's just a vicious circle of teams beating each other right now. And one of them is going to have to rise out and make it through. Hopefully, we don't get something crazy like all three teams finishing the group stage 2 and 4, and then we have a wild tiebreaker to decide, something like that. But I don't think DFM or Infiniti are as strong as they looked. And I think Damwon will probably, again, I think they're just going to roll this group tomorrow. Cloud9 squeaking through 3-3, and then we'll see how the upcoming weekend goes. Everyone with bated breath, watching and waiting for them to do something, anything. Not play through top, but play through their mid or bot lane. So we'll see how that goes.
Real quick, Noxwar, I do want to hear your opinion on Group C, but real quick, in chat I see someone asked how Blabber can be a rookie if he's been in the LCS for 3 years. Those first 2 years were academy, so in the eyes of the main competitive level of esports, he is a rookie. This is his first year in the normal LCS, I believe.
It's such a weird distinction because technically Blabber played Worlds games for Cloud9 back in Worlds 2019 when he was trading time off with Svenskeren.
Or wait, no. He was on Blabber last year. No, it was Academy last year, yeah, right?
I thought he...
No, Blabber was MVP last spring, 2020.
Yeah, I don't think he's a rookie anymore. He's
not a rookie.
This is his second full-time year of being the...
Okay, I sincerely apologize, and I was wrong there.
Cloud9. No worries.
Okay. Thank you for correcting me.
All good. He started playing LCS in 2019, but it wasn't at the start of the season, I think, because
he's been around for a while.
Yeah,
he's been on the Cloud9 amateurs because he was going by Blabberfish for a while, and he was on the Cloud9 amateur squad for quite a while, and then he got taken as a substitute jungler to Worlds in 2019 with Cloud9, in which case, I don't know what happened to that Cloud9 team, but basically they just were like, all right, we'll swap Svenskeren and Blabber in and out. And basically Svenskeren wasn't looking good, and then Blabber had these crazy explosive early games where it was like he was taking apart Griffin at the seams, but then like come mid-game, he was just completely lost.
Yep. All right, so I've said my piece on who I think will get out of the group.
I guess let me do my Group C piece just really fast. So quick speed run of it. I think I agree with you for the most part, Sandy. I think Damwon's going to speed run this, and they'll be like just happily waiting for everyone. I will say I think Cloud9, with the couple days off and the fact that they ended on a win against Infiniti Esports, the team mood should be a little bit better, and they should have a better stability coming into the next coming matches. I think Japan, Detonation, Focus Me actually overperformed on those particular days. They earned the win against Cloud9, and the performance they showed against Damwon Gaming was absolutely deserved. They played well, and honestly, if they closed it out, they absolutely would have deserved that win. However, I do think it was an overperformance. I think coming into the matches tomorrow, they're not going to show that same level of gameplay. Infiniti Esports, I'm going to say, sorry guys, same thing. You guys are just not. You're not up to snuff with Cloud9 and Damwon. You're probably going to be fighting with DFM for that other spot to see if you can 2-0 them or not.
All right, well, now it's time for the next segment because we've done our Group C predictions, and now we have our my take has finished baking.
Uh-oh.
I'm going
Here
to
we
get
go.
it out of the oven right now.
Put
It's
the oven mitts on.
So
full take
we
time.
have our final four predictions for like who we think is going to be in the top four and the order. And just for the listeners and Sandy and Knoxwar, because I didn't tell them mine, I have RNG winning,
Okay.
Madline second, and Damwon and Cloud9 third and fourth. Knox and Sandy, would you like to list off your predictions for the listeners?
So Knox and I had the exact same prediction. So this is going all the way through stage 2 and into the bracket stage. But at this point, Knox and I have Damwon beating out RNG in the final, and PSG being in third and fourth, or tied for third, I guess, respectively. Okay, this is interesting. All right, Curly, I'm gonna need some explanation. How do we get to the point where RNG wins it, and not just over Damwon, because I could see absolutely an argument for RNG beating Damwon, but for RNG being mad in the final.
Okay.
How do you see this?
How can I see this? So the way I see the Rumble stage, and this is very dependent on how tomorrow turns out. We know Damwon's going to make it through. I'm saying they're going to have at least one loss, but they're going to make it through.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be in the Rumble stage, unless the world turns on its head tomorrow. But because the reason when I asked earlier if it's going to be 1 versus 4 and 2 versus 3 is I was like, all right, who's going to be facing who? I think RNG is going to be the number 1 in the Rumble stage because they've dominated so much, and I think, like, granted, they might have had a quote-unquote easier time than Damwon and Mad, but I think they're just better, in my opinion. I think they're stronger. I think the LPL's competitiveness really does a better job at fleshing out a more powerful representative than the LCK, where you just have Damwon, a blank spot, really, and then everyone else. Because if you're at the top, not as many people are challenging you as with the LPL. And so they have the power to just consistently stay number 1. And because they're going to go against number 4, I think they are going to go against C9 if C9 gets out, or DFM if DFM gets out. I think PSG and PGG are going to be the bottom 2 in the Rumble stage, because I think PSG in their group had a better chance, but once you bring out the other regions, especially LPL and LCK, they're going to have a rough time. And so I think they're going to be in 4th. And so because of that, I think Mad and Damwon Kia are going to be 2nd and 3rd. I don't know if respectively, but I think they're going to be in the middle. And so, with Royal, definitely... I'm sorry, did I say PSG 4th? I meant to say C9 or DFM.
Mm-hmm.
So RNG definitely beats the 4th seed, no matter what. Hands down. That's a gimme, right? The 2nd and 3rd, with that Mad Lions versus Damwon. That's a coin toss, but I really do think Mad Lions, if they find it in them and they show that they have the ability to learn, especially with how yesterday turned out, or sorry, not yesterday, today, or just really everything, like they are powerful. And if they lose once, they don't lose again, in my opinion. And so I think they're going to outdo Damwon. And that's why I think we get to an RNG Mad Lions final with RNG winning it. That was my ramble.
Wow.
Bring on the flame.
Nox, I think your AirPods died in the middle of the ramble, so...
Yeah, no, I only heard about the last quarter of that, so take it away, Sandy, I got you.
Woo! So here's what I'm going to say. Every 4 years...
Oh, boy.
Every 4 years, the world comes together for a special athletic competition called the Summer Olympics. And right now, I believe that there are, the Olympic trials, the qualifications going on for people to, get on the U.S. team for their various events. And there's one particular competition, Curly, that, thanks to this take, I think you're actually really, really qualified for. And that would be gymnastics, because you have to do a lot of mental gymnastics to justify this take, this bracket. Buddy, I just don't see it. Oh man! And look, I know weird, crazy things happen. Like I can talk about. Oh well, on paper, they should win all the time. Like, yeah, any analyst, any person could do that on any show, any given day of the year. So you know what? I will grant it to you that crazy things can happen. I think, I'll look at it from your side. I think Mad is a team that could absolutely surprise. I think they absolutely could surprise. What I will take exception to, I guess, is if Mad were to make it to finals, I think they would be facing Damwon there, most likely. I could see a world where it's like Damwon in first, RNG second, Mad in third, somebody in fourth. Damwon beats the fourth seed, and then Mad upsets RNG in the semis, and it's Damwon versus Mad in finals. I think that's pretty realistic. I
think my only exception to it
I just don't see how Damwon does not make finals. I do not see it in any world.
I think my only exception, Curly, to your proposed lineup is because I could see the group stage wise, the seeding, I could see it happening. It happens. I mean, look at 2016 MSI, right? SKT finished fourth, right? Like it happens. Like I could totally see it happening. I just don't see a world where Mad beats Damwon in a best of 5. That's my only exception to your whole thing. Like the seeding wise, totally could happen. I will buy that. I just don't see a world where Mad beats Damwon in a best of 5.
Yeah, I think the seeding could be absolutely wild because they do play 10 best of 1s, and in best of 1s, anything can happen. I mean, wasn't there? We had an MSI. You had MSI 2016 where CLG went 7-3. In group stage, and SKT did not do so well. I think you've had other ones where like Flash Wolves did really, really well in group stage, and then petered off in brackets.
Also 2016.
Yeah, it's just BO1s are a crapshoot, and you have absolutely no idea what's going to happen. So yeah, something crazy could happen in groups, and we get a weird bracket setup that gives us a really strange, unexpected final. So I will grant that. I will absolutely grant that. You know what I will also grant to our listeners, while Curly gets something set up, is the fact that you can follow all of us on Twitter. As you can see below, we've got Curly _QQ_ Noxwar with 2 R's. You've got me at SantosDB. You can also follow the podcast on Twitter at FlightCheck Crew. We do post the show on the FlyQuest subreddit. And if you are not watching this live right now, if you're watching the YouTube VOD or you're listening elsewhere, we stream this show live every Monday night, usually 7:30 p.m. Eastern, give or take a few minutes, which is pretty cool in my opinion. And right now, I think the layout is changing again because Noxwar is getting back on the call from his working computer.
We're good.
He's back, kids.
It's back.
He's back. Look at that. And so and the only other thing I'll say while I'm plugging all our socials and things is that if you would like to listen to this show in a non-live audio-only format, you can find the show on all kinds of podcast platforms, including Spotify, Google Podcasts, hopefully soon Apple Podcasts. I need to double check and see if Anchor has moved it over there yet. You can also listen to it on Anchor. I think Breaker is another one that we actually just got added to as well.
Hopefully all so you don't have to deal with me dealing with technical issues.
Yeah, and hopefully I will edit this live show and you'll have absolutely no clue what I'm talking about in this moment when I'm advertising all this stuff. And
but I appreciate you advertising, especially the social medias, because I heavily encourage roasting me on Twitter if I am wrong.
Yes.
But that being said, please praise me if I am right.
Absolutely. Now, speaking of roasting Curly,
yes.
I'm not exactly sure what you're about to show us on stream, and I'll have to do my best to cast this moment, whatever you're about to show, to our audio listeners.
So actually, fun fact, you won't have to worry about it.
Oh.
Because Voyboy and Megumi already do a great job of casting it for us.
Well, enjoy listening to this wonderful clip of our dear friend and co-host Noxwar playing in a 1v1 over this past weekend.
Okay, Dr. Professor hits one.
Any moment.
Noxwar misses. Okay, Dr. Professor, he's 2 for 2. He's juking like crazy. There's no way he hits a third. He's 3 for 3. He's a god. The silver serpent propping off silver.
So we've got some Mundo dodgeball going on.
Okay.
You know what? This is the first matchup that
I do need to cast this a little bit, I think. So Noxwar using the base Mundo skin versus, I think that looks like Boss Mundo, maybe? I can't quite tell. I can't see who he's playing. But he is getting hit by axes like crazy. The emote taunt game is strong. Oh, Nox just hit an axe.
Oh my god!
They're basically just throwing axes at each other. They're not even going for minions. Oh, neither person has a CS, and it's 1 minute 40 seconds into the match. Nox is down to like
Snowball, please, Snowball.
1 HP. He's 1 HP. One more axe. Oh, a blind axe throw into the bush, and Noxwar gets enough. So let's go live.
That was Mundo Dodgeball.
Let's go live to our man Noxwar, who lost that best of 1. Yeah, how'd it go?
Give us some insight there. Why are you so bad at cubes? Oh, he's just hiding. He's going off camera.
He's dead. He's a ghost again.
There he goes, looking for an exit. From this conversation. There are no exits on this conversation, Noxwar. This is the highway to hell. Lay it on us.
And Mundo Dodgeball is the car you're in. So what went wrong?
What went wrong?
So, I guess context for people who don't know. FlyQuest puts on a tournament called Bear Cups, specifically Megumi herself, along with Voyboy. And it's a tournament of 1v1 duels, usually done once every month. And so I signed up just for fun, and the person I was placed against requested that we do a mirror matchup, just because he wanted to have fun and he wanted to do content.
That was your first mistake.
Yeah, Yeah. Well, the other problem was Direct was like, "Hey, I'm gonna put you on stream." I was like, "Direct, stop! No, like you don't understand. Like, I just wanted to have fun. Now you gotta actually make it look like I gotta try or something." But basically, the guy messaged me and was like, "Hey, can we do a mirror matchup just for the fun of it? So that way it's like fun and entertaining." And I was just like, "All right, whatever, man." And so eventually, I was sitting there. I was like, "Man, I'm not even good at the game in and of itself. Like, I don't know what mirror matchup. Like, I was trying to think of some creative champion pick that I could maybe surprise people with, so that way I could take a game or two. But basically, the guy eventually was just like, "Yeah, let's do the mirror matchup." And I was like, "Okay, well, here's the deal. Like, if we're gonna do a mirror matchup, we're gonna do something that I can at least have fun with. Because if I'm doing a mirror matchup, I'm just gonna get my ass beat. If I'm being straight up honest." And so I was like, "Let's just do Mundo Dodgeball. I think it's a little different. It's a little fun. I think Boy Megumi will have a little fun with it once they realize what's happening, and we'll just call it a day." And got in there, and I clearly am not good at Mundo Dodgeball, and I will never be invited to their $10,000 tournament.
I think the tilter ultimately is that you got hit by a blind axe into the bush. I think that was the killer moment right there. So
That must have been rough.
that must have been
It hurt the pride a little bit, but at the same time, I mean, I wasn't like tryharding either. Once I was into a mirror matchup deal, I was just kind of having fun with it.
That's fair. Well, folks, you heard it here. Nox trying to justify his bad play.
My excuse is for real, dang it!
Oh man, good times. Well, I would encourage you all to go back and check that VOD, see that clip, share it everywhere, tag Nox4 when you do. And so, final thing to chat about, just a little bit of FlightQuest news. It appears that Palafox is back in NA after his little Korean 1000 LP NA hacks 400 AP rise fastest airport percent any speed run over there in Korean
That
Challenger.
was some clickbait title right there.
Oh, I'm all about those clickbait titles. And according to our inside source, Nox War, FlyQuest is starting scrims either today or real soon. So that's
it's
exciting.
either today or May 12th. I cannot remember off for the life of me. I'm sorry on that one, but it is either today or it is Wednesday. One of those two FlyQuest start scrims.
Oh, we're guaranteed at least a Wednesday start for scrims. That's interesting that we're starting scrims, a full month before LCS, while MSI is still going on. I mean, I guess it makes sense. I'm sure the other teams aren't really super interested in having tons of downtime. Utilize everyone got 2-3 weeks off, and now back to the grind. Worlds waits for no man. So I think that's good. Shows a good mindset that we're getting back to it. I mean, yeah.
I was going to say, I know for a fact Peter Dunn in the Oracle's Elixir Discord said EG starting their scrims next week. Yeah. And then I think CLG is also back scrimming as well currently. I don't know about any of the other teams.
Yeah. Well, that's cool. Well, I'm pretty happy about that we're starting scrims early, if we are starting early. I mean, who knows? Scrims are one of those, mysteries, those, esports mysteries. Nobody knows.
What's going on there?
Nobody knows what happens in scrims.
It's one of those things only the top level casters get into it sometimes, and just top level analysts and whatnot. But I think no one at our level is allowed to have scrim information, right? Otherwise, we're just gonna go blabbing about it everywhere. Look what happened in scrims, and they obviously mean jack squat because they're just trying stuff out in scrims, right?
Right.
Jose Diodo single-handedly takes down C9 while the rest of the team is AFK.
Exactly. The true 1v9.
I can't really think of any other news outside of the fact that Jose Diodo's still sitting top 3 on the North American ladder. I know Palafox on his stream said he would make a promise to try and get back to 1K LP before LCS started. So that'll be his little personal challenge to himself, he said on stream.
The man's going to be putting in those 18-hour solo queue days for that.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. Obviously, haven't heard much from Licorice. Licorice doesn't talk much on social media, and even then, his solo queue accounts aren't very active because he's stated in the past that he's not a huge fan of solo queue, and typically makes it a point to just work on 1v1s in the top lane with other opponents as he sees fit, which I'm not going to comment on. I don't know if that's good practice or not. I haven't heard anything about Johnson at all lately either, and then obviously it's still up in the air on whether Diamond or Dreams is going to be in the main roster, and we can speculate on that further after like MSI is done, but that's just the current updates that, as far as I'm aware of.
What I do like, though, is two things. Also, actually, like, I guess unofficial news is that we're getting more team members into the Discord. With, I believe it was NXI and Kumo?
I'm in Palafox. It was Palafox.
You also got the...
and Coach Kanani's in the Discord now, too.
The Dragon himself.
Andy Dragon.
The Dragon, Loyota. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well,
I'm not going to say that I caused it to happen, but I did ask Palafox, like, hey, have you joined the FlightQuest Discord? And he was like, oh, I didn't even know there was a FlightQuest Discord. I was like, yeah, you should join sometime. And 20 minutes later, Gray dragged his butt in there, and all those other guys popped in too. So I'm not saying it was me, but it may have been me.
No, but also, like, in terms of, like, just simple community news, like, I've noticed there's been a drastic increase in streaming from the players lately, and I appreciate that a lot. You know, for a community aspect, number one, it's direct engagement with the players, not just seeing them on LCS broadcasts. Like, you actually, you know, can be in their chat room. And Palafox, for one, I love his streams because he, like, at least when I tuned in, he had, like, 2000s alt rock on the whole time. And like, he was just chilling while doing solo queue things. And it was so nice.
That's pretty good. Well, I'm going to bring back one more segment real fast that we like to call Curly's Corner, because our good friends in Fanatic have had a lot of rumors floating around their starting roster. And as the one true Fanatic fan on this show, Curly, is Bwipo starting in the jungle?
So actually,
what is going on with the roster?
What is going on with the roster is a lot of interesting things. But to start Curly's LEC update, number one, I do want to shout out their Fanatic community podcast called Inside Fanatic's Brush, because my good friend Mad Scott is the host of that, and he started it during the LEC Spring Split. He has a lot of good insight, and I was actually a guest on his show last Thursday before MSI started, and talked about how PGG should not be underestimated because of what Noxware said. But Mad Scott did a good write-up in a private server that we have for that, and so Mad Scott, thank you in advance for giving me a great lowdown for what's happening. And I quote, "Current state of rumors for Fnatic. Adam is coming in to replace Bwipo, who himself seems to be taking the jungle. As one of our friends mentioned, Cadril pointed to an account on which he's been spamming jungle called Chungus, a reference to Wide Bwipo, on which he's seen a few weeks ago duoing with Hillisang for multiple games. As an add-on, Yunbuck had discussed with Bwipo about a switch to mid or jungle in a YouTube video. There is a link there. And even suggested Fnatic would put him in one of these roles back in 2019. There seems to be another rumor that Fnatic is still looking for a sixth player, which would be a jungler in this case. Finally, that would mean that Fnatic loses Selfmade, who is rumored to be heading to Vitality, who have almost confirmed SLT as their new top. Lighter is also rumored to be the new mid, but nothing is set in stone. In any case, we're heading for an interesting summer split. I do think Bwipo can have a good impact as a jungler. My only concern is how he will match against the top junglers like Elyoya, Inspired, or even Yankos and Selfmade. To be continued. Now, to take that, and to take, if you don't know, Bwipo's current Twitter status is former top for Fnatic. There are two things I think happening. Potentially all this hullabaloo about him going jungle is true. I wouldn't, because he definitely would see out the season. I wouldn't be surprised if Selfmade potentially wants to leave, because, Fnatic's been an interesting spot for him this last year. And Vitality, while it's on paper a less successful organization, would give him better opportunities, especially for the type of player he is. He's like, not to flame him, but he's a rather selfish player. He likes being the carry, and so if he's not the carry on Fnatic, I feel like he doesn't quite have a sense of self. And Upset, in my opinion, has really shined through as the true carry of Fnatic this season. And so, to not make this the Fnatic podcast, I do think there's some validity. However, I think another potential to, if it's not just a meme, if he is leaving the top lane, that he's actually going straight to the caster desk. And I think about this for a few reasons. Number one, he's casting MSI right now. He's doing an excellent job, and he did a good job at finals. He's really showing that he has the analyst and casting style. And on top of that, there is a vacancy for casters/analysts in Ender leaving for the summer split. And so, he could instantly fill this if he really wants to. At the very least, if he is not on the caster desk in the summer split, he will be next season, in my opinion. And so, interesting things are coming to Fnatic for the summer, but at the very least, one thing I can guarantee you, and you can flame me for in 8 months if it's not true, or 7 months if it's not true, is that we will see Bwipo on the caster desk in LEC 2022. And that concludes Curly's LEC update.
Curly's LEC update. Well, that's great. Always love checking in on our Fnatic fan over there. Hey, FlyQuest and Fnatic, they both start with an F.
F.
So,
in fact, actually, I like to call myself a good old FF fan.
As long as it's not FF at 15 for either team. As long as they fight, right? Well, that's great. Well, this has been Season 1, Episode 8 of FlightCheck. A lot of good MSI talk. We'll see how tomorrow goes with Cloud9. And then the weekend, you've got, let's see, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday. So it's another just straight up 5 days. 2 games per day for each team, I believe is how it's going to go. So that'll be Friday starting at 9 a.m. every day. So we'll have another show. I think we'll be 4 days through the Rumble stage next week when we get to it. So we'll have a much better idea of what's going on there. But in the meantime, we'll be signing off here. Any quick shout-outs from you guys? Curly, anything you want to plug or throw out there?
Well, real quick, I do want to put the predictions just back up there to invite the flame again, just so you guys can see how crazy I am. But in terms of shout-outs, again, like I said, I want to shout out Inside Fnatic's Brush and Mad Scott for giving me a lot of insight as to, so I can not just be talking out of my ass for for my LEC update. And then on top of that, as always, want to shout out FlyQuest for giving me free content to roast Nox War with. And I guess in particular, Voyboy and Megumi Bear for being such wonderful hosts of such a wonderful event.
Absolutely. That's great.
To follow up on that, Curly, I was going to say, I don't know how much, I don't think Voy even really watches this at all. I know Megumi watches the VODs occasionally, though. So, Megumi, if you're watching this, I would like to say thank you for shouting us out on Voyboy stream with over 1,200 people watching. That was super appreciated, and we love you for that. Obviously, a huge shout out to FlyQuest org in general. I guess, real quick, while I'm looking at it on Twitter, BN said there's literally only a few glitched jerseys left, limited edition. I literally just bought mine while Curly was doing his LEC little corner. And so hopefully, if you can, get your hands on it. It's a really cool looking jersey, and that's about all I got for the time being.
I feel like this is a running, not gag, but like a running thing now where Curly will be talking and Nox just goes off and buys FlyQuest merch. So while that's occurring.
I got to represent FlyQuest somehow when he's talking about Europe.
Exactly. We got to make sure that there's a balance, right? Even though we spend, 90% of the show talking about NA, right? Well, a couple quick shout-outs. Other shows that are coming on tonight. I want to quickly note 100 Talk. They're doing a bit of a new thing tonight, and I got to get the name correct so that I don't... All right, they're doing Talk Trios, which is their LA Thieves coverage for any of you Call of Duty fans. They'll be on at 9:30 p.m. Eastern, so that'll be like 50 minutes from now. You will, if you're watching this, you will literally drop into Warzone with Cole and Jordan and talk about LA Thieves while you're dropping in, which is a fantastic idea for a show. And it really makes me wish that FlyQuest would expand to other games so that we would have some other things to talk about besides League of Legends. But we'll get into that another time.
Did you
We're getting
see
there.
my tweet, Sandy?
That's exactly what I was referencing right there. Absolutely. But that's going to be great. I'm really excited. I don't even watch Call of Duty, and I'm excited to just watch them play a little bit of Warzone. As always, a shout out to Hotline League. That'll be on later tonight as well. There's good stuff on there. Looking forward to seeing all those hot takes that will go right up with Curly's hot take from earlier. And for us, as I mentioned before, give us a follow on Twitter at FlightCheck Crew. If you're not following us here on Twitch as well, please give us a follow. We're trying to get to affiliate so that we can possibly get some emotes in the chat, so that we can possibly get some subs, so that we can possibly get paid for this. Wouldn't that be
Fund me a computer that doesn't crash.
Yeah, exactly. And then that way, we can all have great streaming content creation careers and work 18 hours a day and barely have a life. But besides all that, thank you for watching and or listening. Noxmore has one more thing he wants to throw out there.
I just remembered, although I should have remembered this way sooner, but myself and 100 Top Jordan are hosting a TFT tournament on May 22nd. It is meant to be a FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves community battle, so this is mainly for the 100 Thieves fans and the FlyQuest fans, but if you would like to join, the top 8 participants actually get an RP prize. First place will be getting $20, second through fourth will be getting $10, and then fifth through eighth will be getting $5 of RP. It'll be a 16-person tournament. Like I said, May 22nd, hopefully starting at 12 o'clock p.m. PST. I'll be putting out announcements in each respective Discord, so for those of you who are watching, look out for that and keep an eye open for it, and hopefully, maybe if you guys are good enough, you can get a little RP out of it and have some fun and a little banter.
I've got a 5-head comp for that. I know exactly what I'm doing.
Yeah, I've got 12 days to do a training montage and get ready to support FlyQuest and rep the Discord.
All I'm gonna say is beware the little people.
Ooh, okay.
Noted.
Alrighty.
All right, well, this has been Season 1, Episode 8 of FlightCheck. Thank you so much for watching and listening. As I said earlier, you can listen to us on all your usual podcast platforms. We're also live every Monday night, 7:30 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/FlightCheckCrew. Follow us, talk to us, give us a hug, if you're vaccinated, please. And that should be all. So that's all we've got. Go get your vaccination, and we will see you in the Twitch chat and anywhere else online. Who knows? We're signing off. See y'all.
All right. Peace, y'all.